G'day everybody, Sam Marwood here from Cultivate Farms, and we have a special guest along with us today. It's Claire Coates from Freeland Pork. Claire and Marc are our first farmers matched with an investor. Claire's a champ. Claire's given her time to talk through the journey of becoming invested in. Claire, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, Sam. I'm happy to chat to everybody.
So the reason why I wanted to get you back in front of the camera is because we're rolling out another Cultivator program. I don't think we called it Cultivator back in your day. We just, I don't even know what we called it. Maybe in the farm pitching program or something. But we're now calling it Cultivator, and the investor who backed you wants to back another aspiring farmer. They love this whole process. For them, they got to pick 13 farmers in one day, and they got to choose from a great list of farmers, and you were the top one, Claire. They loved it, so they want to do it again. So we thought, well, let's package this up a bit more, let's put a bit more structure around it, because we could have supported you more than we did. Claire, realised you did amazingly well to pull your pitch together. But our program will be a 6-month program where we do monthly webinars and also have one-on-one support from experts in the industry to get your pitch ready. And at the end of it, one person or one family or one farming enterprise will be backed by this investor, which we think is a world first. We think is amazing because it is. So what I wanted to do was chat to Claire about her journey and go way back from when we first met, and to see what she thought of us crazy people at Cultivate, and then go through the journey of pitching, and then get some gold from Claire around what you as an aspiring farmer thinking about doing this program should think about, and whether it's right for you, and some tips on how to go about doing it. So Claire, how did we meet? It was because you and Marc were leasing land, and you were in need of an alternative because you were getting kicked off the land pretty much. Is that the summary back in 2017?
Yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. So we approached, the original connection came through Tammy Jonas from Jonai Farms, and she connected us with Carolyn Sugar, that's her name, and I spoke to her, and then she was the person that then recommended that I chat to you. So it was through a couple of different people, just reaching out and asking and telling and speaking to the people that we thought might be able to help us to find another way. And so that's how we ended up speaking with yourself.
Which is amazing timing, considering we didn't do this program last year, and it was we just thought of it, and it's amazing that you needed a farm at that time. And
you guys a launch pad, I suppose, in a way, because we were full steam ahead. This is what we need to do. We knew we had the ability to do it, but we just needed a way. And so I think the two worlds collided and was kind of timely from both sides, I feel, for both businesses.
Absolutely. So what did you think as soon as I said something like, there's potentially an investor who would want to back you? Had you thought like that before? What were your options if we weren't around, for example?
Well, having someone back us onto a farm one way or another was definitely an avenue. The other avenue that we were still looking at was to find another suitable farm to lease, because that's effectively what we were doing. We were leasing country to run our business on. We had a couple of options up our sleeve. Some were more temporary than others when we started going a little deeper into what we truly needed for the business to be sustainable. Leasing a farm was becoming a bit of a challenge. Most people were like, I don't know that I want pigs on my farm, or there was going to be a lot of money needed to set it up properly. So, I think they're fairly common limitations that anyone's going to come across, but we were looking down all those channels and speaking to friends, speaking to family. Do you know of anyone? Even if it was a temporary measure, and really trying to sort of sell the idea to someone that it would be for their benefit as well. We were going to look after the country and improve it, and meant that we could run our business, etc. But ideally, to have someone back the model was really the ultimate. So when the opportunity came up that we could pitch the business model that we'd set up, as well as a farm, to pull the two together and fairly well prove that it was a sustainable model, to have someone then back that was the ultimate resolve. And the timing had a lot to do with the result, I think, and our ability to write the pitch.
Yeah, that's it. I want to get to the pitch in a second, but I was thinking that we were the only ones you were pitching to, but really you were out there pretty much pitching to anyone. Sounds like anyone who would listen. I love that.
I did actually send the pitch that we did to another investor company, what was it? Angel Investments?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Anyway, I paid a couple of $100 to do it and thought, well, I can't put all my eggs in one basket. I've done all this work. I'm just going to throw it out there. And look, there wasn't any serious leads that came through that, but also I never really followed through to much extent on those potential leads anyway, because we were really full fire ahead with you guys. So nothing was going to prevent us from not pulling this off one way or another.
That is a great attitude. And I think that's the attitude we want farmers to have anyway, that we want, a cultivator to be a kick up the bum to get going, but it should be one of 30 options you have to get on your farm. And using dinner parties as your pitch event, I think is a great thing to do. Well, I love that hustle, Claire. And what about filling out the template itself? I know you're a good writer, so is that a key element? Like when you saw the draft, were you just going, "What is this?" Because it's quite long. What was your process?
Well, remember we pitched the first time on your original template, which was a little simpler, but then obviously realised that it needed to be more needed to be more specific. So, but it was like we kind of had a practice run with that one anyway. So that helped. I suppose because we've got a business background and do like writing, fairly good at writing, that definitely helped. But at the same time, it was having a really clear vision of what our business model was and what it could achieve. So understanding the business end of the business was really a crucial key to then being able to put it into a legible real life plan. And then that's basically what the pitch is. So I think, although it can be a little bit daunting to someone who's not used to writing or isn't quite sure how to put the words on paper, I think what the first thing that needs to happen is that you really need to, anyone that's going to pitch just needs to get really clear on what it is they want to achieve, because without that makes it harder to write. Even for someone who's a great writer is going to find it hard to write if they don't really know what it is they're trying to achieve. So begin with the end in mind. I think that's really crucial information. And I like the analogy of, you wouldn't one day decide to build a house and then just go randomly lay a slab. It's like, well, no, you got to do the plan first. You know what I mean? Before you lay the slab. So think of it as that process. Begin with the end in mind. What is this going to look like at the end? And then take the steps to work back the other way.
So specifically for you, Claire, what was that vision? Is it sort of break it down for someone? Is it the number of sows was probably the thing you wanted, or the way you're going to farm, profitability as a family? Are they
Well, there was a few key elements. Obviously, the free range pig farming model was what we wanted to do. When we originally first started out, we had a vision that it would be a fairly straightforward, commodities-driven farming business for Marc, and he would be able to grow these pigs, and we would sell them to a commodity market. And for that to be even remotely viable, we were looking at a fairly sizey operation. It was looking to be a minimum of 150 sows, which is quite a lot. So when we went to look for a lease farm, we needed to make sure that 150 sow model outdoors was going to be sustainable. And, what did we need in order for it to be sustainable? We had 500 acres to play with at the time. And then when we had restrictions on us and, we had the dude up the road who was vexatious and all that fun stuff happened, it forced us to relook at the business model. and to go, okay, well, we actually have 50 sows. At this point in time, we can't go to the 150 sow model that we thought we were going to do. We need to change to suit the situation. So we went, well, rightio, so how can we make 50 sows a viable business model? And that basically meant going straight to the consumer. So, which was something that we'd always talked about and thought that we would probably do down the track. But the idea originally was to set it up so that we didn't have to go down that path. It was commodities driven. It was, enough quantity of pig production coming through that it was going to sustain us as a family. So we changed it and we made a 50 sow model as profitable as what a 150 sow model would be selling at a much lower rate direct to, like an abattoir or, the middleman. So we did, and then it sort of grew from there.
And you're realising it now, and I love that now you've spent this 9 months pitching, trying to find a home for yourselves, that you're really getting stuck into the farming side of things, which is the whole reason why you wanted to get farming. But that's a divergence from talking about Cultivator, and also that you've won awards for your meat. But again, that's another divergence from the topic of right now. So I want to go back. So you had this vision, you knew what you wanted, you weren't daunted by this document, or if you were, you just plowed on through because you had a farm to get. How confident were you, and what was going through your head thinking, okay, we're going to try and impress an investor, they're going to give me a lot of money, yeah, we can do this? And if you were confident, what was it, because you're already leasing and you've been doing this for a few years, that gave you the confidence? Can you unpack that?
Well, the business model itself, having the confidence in the model that we were creating, gave us confidence to then go, rightio, well, if we think we can pull this off because we've got the numbers to back it up, then we need to then explain that to someone for them to realise that there's something in it for them too. There has to be a return on investment. You can't expect anyone to invest in anything unless there's a return on it. I mean, I wouldn't invest in something if there wasn't some kind of a return, whether it's a long-term, short-term, whatever. There's obviously lots of different investment types and opportunities. So I guess because we knew that it was a viable business model, we felt that we covered, potential risks, and we'd looked at worst case scenarios, best case scenarios, alternatives, contingencies, all those types of things. And because we'd gone down that path of covering as much what ifs as possible, that in itself we knew was giving us confidence that we could do it, which then in turn meant that we could give confidence to somebody to back us to do it. If we were a bit fuzzy on the detail, an investor, of course, would also be fuzzy on the detail. So don't be fuzzy. It's probably the point.
That's good.
Get clear. You've got to be clear.
That statement at the front where you said, would I invest in this? Someone had come to me. And I think that's a really good way to think about it. It's
absolutely
to give someone confidence. And I think we've got the template covers that. I think it covers most things pretty well. But it does require you sitting there chatting, you and Marc chatting, going, what about this and what about that? Like, the investor won't necessarily pull those things out from you, but you need to be able to. You can't really hide anything, I guess, can you? Because you're going to get found out in the long run.
Yeah, that's right. The more thorough that you can be, not only is it good. I mean, I think the thing is, you shouldn't be doing it just to impress an investor. You should be doing it because you want a successful business model. That should be the purpose for doing it. I think it's a really great exercise, even if you weren't going to actually present that pitch to anyone. What an amazing thing to produce, a document. It's effectively writing a business plan for yourself, isn't it?
That's right. And that's,
yeah. If you want to sell it, that goes with it.
And it's a document now you can take wherever you want. You can do I really want people to do town hall meetings where they pitch for local investors, or you can take it to the local accountant who knows wealthy people in town. You've got a document now that if you're confident in, others will be as well, and it's your job now to find those investors. So yeah, it's not just this investor that you could get. There could be hundreds of people out there who just are waiting for you to send them a PDF. I know it. So what about on a personal level, Claire, and you would go out for dinner or something with friends, what would you tell them and what would people say maybe in this period of pitching and getting, what did your family say? What was the vibe during this whole process?
I think a line that I use fairly frequently in the end was, we pretty much Shark Tanked it. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, just like Shark Tank, but just not the show.
That's great.
And then the conversation would go from there. Like, I mean, my family knew what we were doing and backed us and went, well, go for it. You've got nothing to lose. And, I suppose we were probably fairly selective as to how far we went into detail with people, because obviously you've got some friends that, the most you talk about is kids and weather, and that's cool. You've got to have friends like that. And then you have friends that are business people. So then they're the people that I'm going to confide in, for their opinion, their advice, their feedback. And I'm lucky I've got friends in that space, so I can go, okay, cool. I really want your honest feedback on this. What do you think? This is what we've done, or this is what we're doing. And then there's plenty of people in our lives that didn't really know what we were doing, but went, oh God, Claire and Marc are doing something. That's cool. And just let us go do our thing. So, I feel like people should probably be selective as to who they confide in for feedback. Because sometimes your mum or your sister or your brother is not the right person. Someone might actually, sometimes those people dampen your dreams. So don't go to those people. Go to the people who are going to lift you up and go get them. They're the people you can confide in. Yeah.
Could not agree more, Claire. I was going to say that, and you said everything I wanted to say. It's get good people around you, because it's hard waking up in the morning. And if you don't have good people around you, it's even harder. Love it. All right. So, what do you think? Why do you think the investor chose you?
I think it was a really solid pitch. I think the business plan was clear. I think it had room for contingencies. It had room for growth and alternate ways to grow. But I think, at the end of the day, because we understood our risks and we understood the business end of the business, it's not just about wanting to be a farmer and being on the land. It was about wanting to run a successful business. At the end of the day, that's what it is, and then pulling that business model into agriculture and a lifestyle. Well, that was just the ultimate, because that's obviously where our passion lies. But at the end of the day, you've got to I lost my train of thought now. I was reading Eunice's comment on the thing.
You got to make money. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. So, I think the reason why it was successful was not for any one reason at all, except that, in a nutshell, we could back what we'd said, and we could back it up with contingency, with figures, with skill, with alternatives, and the fact that we were really open to allow someone else in. I think that's obviously another really key point.
Sharing, that's a key. I know it's a key factor for your partnership with the investor. And just reflecting on my experience of being part of the pitching day, and just thinking about your pitch, there weren't any holes. Like the other ones, there was like, but I haven't thought about this, and I don't feel confident in that. It's just there was no holes in it. It was well written, which just gave this vibe of confidence. And of course, the investor didn't say, "Here's the money straight away." It took 6 months for that to happen, but it gave that confidence to go, I want to catch up with Claire and Marc. They sound awesome. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
So I know we're talking about this all the time, so just quickly touch on this, but it's a key point because I've got some other questions. But how is the farm going now? Are you hating being part of this arrangement or loving it?
Loving it. The cat. Hang on. Oh, damn, I love cats. Stay there, Diddy. Get off. The farm is going really well. Like we've hit some different challenges on this farm compared to what we had on the other farm. But like in any business and in any farm, you have to address them as they come. And communication is obviously really key. And also, the fact that Marc and I knew that we needed to get really specific on each other's roles. So to know what each of us needed to be doing to reach the big picture. What is the big picture? What are we trying to achieve? What's our targets? What's our goal? How are we going to get there? And we each bring different skill to the business. So, it's about utilising and working to each other's strengths and working together, and then bringing in the people that are experts in different areas, because we're not experts at nutrition, we're not vets, whatever. There's a range of people. So go and source the people, go find the best, because why would you want to work with someone that's only mediocre in their field? Don't do that. Go and find someone who's the best in their field, because they're the people that we want in our corner. So now we have these really strong resources. So we've built relationships with people in all these different areas, so that both Marc and I, in both of our roles, have these people that we can go to, because we can't. No one can be an expert at everything. So go learn.
That's a skill or a gift, something that you're open to letting people into your business. It's a really amazing thing, and I think it's because you got your eyes on the bigger picture.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's a really good point. Yeah.
All right, I've got my last question, Claire, because I know you have to get up early. I've been thinking about this a lot, especially when we've got a lot of farm opportunities up on our website, and some haven't been matched or haven't had many applicants. And I'm thinking, what is stopping people from applying? What sort of a person should apply for this Cultivator program? And really, maybe the question is, what sort of person should look to get an investor? Because I think becoming a farmer or being a farmer is an entrepreneurial pursuit, and it's a lonely pursuit, and it's hard. And if you want all that pressure and you want to know that wake up in the morning and knowing that bills need to be paid and it's on you, it's a lot of pressure, and some people are built for that and some aren't. I don't know if you're going to. I've just been thinking about that a lot. Is that just something people should be aware of going into farming? Full stop. That it is high pressure in a way, because you're dealing with multi-million-dollar assets, and you've got to be self-aware enough to know that you're happy to deal with that pressure. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think everybody who is looking to either become a farmer or already is a farmer but needs to take the next step, everyone has a different skill set, and everyone has a different level of skill and expertise. And I think it's understanding and knowing and being really clear on what your skills and expertise are, to then go, okay, I know I'm good at this, and I also know that I need to be good at this and this in order to make it happen. And it comes back to allowing those people in and learning. You should never stop learning. No, the most successful people in the world, they're not stopping learning. They don't know everything. They're reading a book a week or whatever. Whatever. So I think it's understanding what your own skill set is, and then working out what is the skill that you then need to then be able to take that next step. I mean, to be there's nothing wrong with being an employee. The world needs really good employees, and if that's where you're at and if that's where you're comfortable, well, that's cool, because there's people that are pitching business models and are running businesses and getting backed onto farms that need really good employees. So don't feel like this is the only option too, but really at the end of the day, know what your skill set is, and know what else is it that you need to learn in order to become the person that you want to be. If you want to own a farm, if you want to run a business model, you want to be backed by an investor, well, go and learn the things that it is, that the skills that you don't have, to then be able to achieve that. Because if you already had those skills, you'd already be doing it. That's my take on that.
Gold. So the secret I'm going to reveal is Claire's going to be part of the Cultivator program, and she's going to be the mentor for all our farmers going through, which I think is amazing. So not only are you going to have advisors per topic, you're going to have Claire holding your hand the whole way through, which I just think is amazing. So thank you very much, Claire, for agreeing to that. You're not aware of that, are you? No, we talked about it.
Am I? No, you've mentioned it a couple of times. It's okay. And obviously my feedback to you has been that's where my passion is. Mm-hmm. So I love to be able to help people, and I don't pretend to know everything, but I do love doing what we do, and I love helping people and mentoring people as best that I can, and by shared experience, or, maybe I know somebody that is better suited to help someone, so maybe I can refer them, and that's cool too,
Yep.
So, very happy to be in that space, and really excited to be able to help some people get their pitches done and help them achieve their goals, whatever that is.
And I'm excited for them. So if you are an aspiring farmer who has been leasing or has been managing a farm, you think you are ready to own a farm with an investor, you've got ideas on how that's going to work, or you want to replicate your leased model, if you're ready and after this you're like, yeah, this is me, we want to hear from you. We want to put you in front of these investors, this investor, and then find other investors for you, or find a pathway to get on that farm. But we'd love to be a part of the program. You get to hang out with Claire and I more as well, which is just a massive bonus anyway. But Claire, thank you very much for your time, and we will do more of these in the future. It's good just us chatting. I love it.
Yeah, me too. Awesome. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, Claire.
No worries.